Good to be in the building. And I know there's a lot going out in our city right now with the power going out and the storm and everything. So our thoughts and prayers are with everybody and make sure everybody hopefully stays healthy, and appreciate everybody on the scene helping everybody out. So, but good to see everybody in person.
How, if at all, is that affecting your routine here?
Well, we push some things back. There's some things we don't have in the building, but it's we're just fine.
Coach, new kickoff rules this year. A lot of teams are choosing to kick it out of the end zone. You guys are not, and you're number one in the NFL in kickoff coverage. Talk about why you made the decision to kick the ball instead of kicking it out of the end zone.
Well, I think we're from week to week we're making that decision. So we're really I think we're off to a good start with our coverage units, especially on kickoff, and we feel like if we can, if the numbers are in our favor and we can go stop them inside the 30, that's a net positive for us. So that's kind of an ongoing process, but I think our guys, Jay deserves a lot of credit on some of the stuff that we're coming up with week to week and how we're executing, how we're practicing. So I think it's just, hey, this is a phase of the game where we feel like our guys, have a really good chance to give us an edge. So that's why we've been going for it. Yeah, he looks good. He's in good spirits. Just adding another great player to our guys and kind of getting back in the mix with, how we're going to be able to utilize those safeties. And it's exciting times to see how the week will shake out.
Is he at a point where he'd be sooner than later, or the 21 days?
I think it'll be sooner than later. Yeah.
How did you feel? Ty Okada used him a lot in that role on Sunday. How did you feel like that went? How he played?
Well, yeah, again, you're taking Julian and you moved him from safety, and he played some down like second level type stuff at nickel and dime. So he deserves credit for playing three positions in that game, and then Ty coming in and playing good football for us, calming everything down, all the communication. So just another example of a guy staying ready and really working his tail off throughout the week, even though he's not in a starting role per se, and then when his opportunity comes, making the best of it and helping us win a football game. So, yeah, all those guys, they do a great job preparing. So I was excited for Ty to get an opportunity.
Mike, what do you expect from that safety position in relation to your defense?
Well, we're getting some depth back. We're missing Kayvon right now, but Ty being able to step up, getting Rayshawn back, probably this week, getting him back, and it's just good problems to have. Good players, can play multiple spots. You don't want to get too cute with it because then you get in disarray a little bit. So trying to maximize our continuity back there as well as seamlessly getting Rayshawn back into the fold. So yeah, it's exciting.
How did Abe bounce back from his first game?
He's in a good spot to my knowledge. I'm sure he's a little sore, but be out there today. He's good spirits.
Mike, you spoke after the Rams game about creating a nightmare at home and just kind of trying to reestablish that home field advantage. I'm just wondering, big picture, how important that is to what you guys do.
Well, it's incredibly important. You start ranking things about what we're trying to achieve here, and that's at or near the top of the list. So I know we're on a slide here at home, and we're trying to do a couple things, to make it come to life. We're treating this like a home playoff game for us. So we need the 12s rocking, and you're right. That's the vision. That's what we're trying to create. So let's get it started this Sunday.
There's a lot that the Cardinals do well on offense. Is it the run that's driving everything else, or is it Kyler Murray's efficiency that's driving everything that's happening?
I think there's just like a synergy to it on how they're playing and how efficient Kyler's playing. He's playing decisive. They do a great job. It's a different operation than we've seen. It's a ton of gap scheme, ton of pullers. They do a great job protecting the football, and then if all else doesn't go to plan, then Kyler's one of the best in the business at extending plays and kind of making you pay late in the down too. So the easy answer would be say that the run game kind of starts it, but they kind of have all the things going, all the play actions, the movements, the screens. It's kind of all works together. So they got a great system, and they're executing at a high level right now.
On the defensive side of things, you got, I think, like 14 guys that have been in on a sack this year. What has allowed that sort of rotation and production from this?
Well, we've said like their team pass rush is a 11-man operation, so it's a team pass rush mentality. Getting the quarterback to try to hold the ball, again, if you're blitzing, you have less time, so there's a scale to it rather than if you're just rushing forward. Normally, you have a little bit more time, but. adopting the game plan, understanding, hey, these are the stress points, this is the time that we're trying to create to get the quarterback to hold it, and then executing and ultimately getting. I mean, the quarterbacks these days are so elusive to try to get them on the ground, and it's not just a one-man job. You got to kind of keep them in a phone booth in order to make that happen.
What did you notice Abe Lucas gave you on offense?
Well, I think he just speaks to like the things we know about Abe that makes him a really great player. So this guy's just a physically imposing, presence, to start. But just an overall I mean, not that the other guys don't, but Abe. I mean, his calling card is physicality, how hard he plays. Just an anchor point right now on a line. So it's just great to see him out there.
Is he at the point where you still need to pitch count him?
Not sure. I mean, you'd like to say no, but we're not to that point yet in the week in terms of making that decision.
Julian seems like one of these guys that doesn't get national acclaim, but is really appreciated in the building on every team he plays for. What can you say about his consistency and his IQ and his impact out there?
Well, I think you name the things that make him really special. I think it just the why and trying to do stuff the best way, and so just there's this ongoing communication between him and the rest of the players and the coaches of this alignment that we're trying to create. And I'm really happy we're going to have him here long term so he can help lead the charge. But he's playing really good football for us, and he can kind of do all the things. I mean, all the things we're asking our DBs, and especially safeties, to play. I mean, he's playing on the second and third level. He can blitz. Does all the man-to-man stuff, play the deep area of the zones. I mean, so he's a versatile piece for us for sure, outside of just being a great person, great player.
Cardinals are in first place right now. You get them 2 out of the next 3 weeks. How do you view this next stretch in the schedule?
Well, like I said, I think it was going into the Niners week. I mean, we kind of lost, put it this way. Look, we've earned the opportunity to be fighting for, the lead in the division going into the home stretch. So that's the way we're treating it. It's very much like a playoff mindset for us at this point. Can't afford to drop games. It's just you want to have the the right to play for these really important games in December and January. You got to be able to execute and put yourself in that situation. It's basically a December football game for where it's landed.
When you're playing a team twice in a short span of 3 weeks in this case, does that impact your preparation or like game planning at all?
Yeah, we're gonna do nothing the second. Tell Jonathan that we're gonna change everything the second game. I think it's easy to just put too much stuff. I mean, for me, I'm guilty as charged about overthinking stuff, but we're not worried about 3 weeks from now. At least I'm not. It's all what it's going to take to win this football game. Let's see what happens, and then we'll go play the Jets, and then we'll go play the Cardinals again. But we're not thinking about 3 weeks from now, honestly.
A lot of coaches are hesitant to hire a college OC. I'm curious, do you think people make too much of the transition from college to pros for an OC, and how do you feel like the transition's going for Ryan Grubb?
What was the first part of the question?
A lot of folks are cautious about hiring a college OC in the pros. Do you think that people make too much of that transition and that jump? And how do you feel like it's going for Ryan Grubb?
Well, I mean, I can't speak for other people, but to me, you're hiring the person. That was my plea to the organization when I was trying to get hired. I've never been a head coach before, and but you're hiring me. We hired Ryan Grubb to be our offensive coordinator, and so we want him to do what he does, his best as well. We want the best version of him to help lead our offense. So I think very much like with our football team, Ryan and I are growing together, and I think he's doing a great job. I think he does a phenomenal job of doing the stuff that our players do well, and able to get the ball, to our best players at any given moment. So, no, I mean, we're still where we're at. We got to keep growing. We got to keep getting better, keep attacking this thing. But it's been fun to work with them.
Any update on D. Williams?
I think it's nothing serious right now. We'll see how it works out today. I'd say it's day to day at this point. Tried to go back through the memory bank there. Well, sorry, I got simultaneous questions. I think it's a work in progress, Mike. I mean, there's things I think we're doing really well. I would like it to be a little bit more consistent in terms of generating pressure. You go back and you look at last game, I thought we affected Purdy in some certain situations the right way. Like, he cut out a couple times, and those are the ones that drive you crazy. But he's a great player. I mean, so it's like, there's going to be a couple plays throughout a course of a game where you might fall short, and but your process and you're doing a lot of good things as well. Couldn't tell you where we land in like pressures and sacks and all that, but I think what's helped those opportunities is creating more of those opportunities for the guys. So I think it speaks more to our progress that we've made on early downs, as opposed to just like pure pass rush stats right now.
You've talked about Ernest Jones and how big of an impact he's made. What are kind of the specific things on defense that really helped you guys improve?
Well, when you're, I mean, again, we're not. This is speaking to Ernest as a player and the person that we have. This is not, the guys that were here. We respect those guys, but it was just best for us to move on in that situation. But with Ernest, there's a strength in the middle of the defense that like he's going to be able to get the ball down on the ground, and the way we've talked about how he plays the game. I mean, it's very slow for him. He stays square. He can pace the ball. And we talked about earlier this week, there's some points of emphasis this week on where we want to take his game to the next level, working through that. But he's a fun guy to work with, and just same guy every day. Loves football. Those are the guys we like.
Earl Thomas was named a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame. You
Yeah.
had him for a year at that point. What do you remember about him as a player?
Man, a couple things. He was a savant. I mean, we basically took kind of what Wink was doing in 2018, and then our roster shifted and we had Earl, so we did a lot, but we built it a lot. We were doing around his skill set, but he just knew like the route concepts, where the ball was going, how the quarterback operated, how to manipulate stuff. So that was really cool to see him do his thing. He did it unconventionally. I mean, he was playing the post from like some dangerous alignments, but he got the job done. And I think honestly, when listening to your question, how hard he plays and just the energy during the games, this guy just played with an elite motor, and just it's a shame the way it ended, because I was excited for that second year.
Mike, going back to your pass rush a little bit, I think in terms of blitz rate, you and Denard, Jesse, you guys are all kind of thinking cluster blitz rate.
Okay.
What is it about this scheme maybe that you guys prefer trying to just get there?
It's interesting that we kind of end up in the same cluster. I wasn't aware of that, but I think. Well, I mean, we talked about this in years past, but you're trying to stay aggressive and apply pressure. You don't necessarily have to do that by sending extra bodies. So that's kind of the founding principle of the whole thing, and trying to make do what's best for your team to win that particular down. So sometimes it's through the lens of, hey, I don't want to give up a 60-yarder on this play. We got a really good chance at stopping them by not sending an extra body. Your personnel, how your roster is shaped up, what guys do, certain things well. You want to accentuate those types of things. We've talked about that with Spoon, like trying to get him activated in the pass rush too. So I'm sure those guys are thinking through the same lens.
Teams that have limited James Conner have beat the Cardinals. Can you talk about what challenges he presents, and how do you have to stop a guy like him?
Well, he's a little bit different type of runner than we've gone against, but he's a really strong runner. Guy's tough, really tough. Don't let he runs a little upright, but he's powerful, and I think he leads the league in broken tackles. But with the gap scheme, and he's got a good feel for kind of when to hit the accelerator versus, hey, it's not there, maybe take it a gap wider and then get vertical. But they do a great job of blocking for him. They get everybody blocked up. They got all the schemes, but he does have a knack for kind of getting the extra couple yards, and there's a lot of hidden yardage there that kind of keeps him on track and ahead of the sticks, which would be a challenge for us.
What's the outlook for Labisco?
Same thing. We're taking it day-to-day by right now, but I think we should have him practicing in the next couple of days.
And when him and Dee both were out last week, what did you think of how Kenny and Cody did when they throw them in the back?
Oh, I thought we made some good decisions. I mean, Kenny didn't. He made kind of a tough play, not bad, not worse. So I thought he made a smart decision in that moment. You would have loved him to field the bouncing ball and give us a chance to return that one kick. But other than that, I thought he made a good decision by taking it out and eliminating a catastrophic play. So guys made good decisions. There weren't a lot of opportunities for him. Well, I think you see he's winning different ways, which makes him. That speaks to him as a player. He's winning in certain man situations where the routes running away from guys, and he's winning one-on-one battles, and then in the zone stuff, just think it speaks to like the design and feeling where the defenders are. Gino knowing where to go with the ball, getting through his progressions, having time to kind of get through the progression, and then like we said after the game, there are some cool extended play moments where you can feel like him and Gino are on the same page, and that'll get you a couple sneaky catches by the end of the game too. So it's kind of all the things right now, which is exciting.
Statistically, you're under center a little bit more on offense than you had been prior. Did that just kind of happen in that game, or was that a thought?
Yeah, that was just that was our game plan going in on some things that we felt like we could achieve, but we'll see. We'll take it week to week by right now.
A lot of teams don't have a threatening tight end. They have Trey McBride in Arizona. Can you talk about what a tight end like that does to a defense?
Well, yeah, Trey's a really good player, and unfortunately, he had one of his coming out parties against the Ravens last year when we played against them. But there's not a lot of tight ends that can do all the things. He's one of the guys I think that you're gonna find out that you can be on the end of the line blocking, you can arc, you can be in space. I think he's a really good route runner. So we got a lot of respect for him. He's a good player.
Anything else? Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
all right.
Coach.
Thanks, guys.